Hello and welcome to Matt's Mosh Pit, and tonight I'm going to be sharing with you my experience at the Machine Head and In Flames North American Tour. But before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much for all the love and support you've shown me and my channel so far. It truly means a lot, and I could not do this without you. Okay, folks, so the show took place at the Fillmore in Silver Spring, Maryland, and as you guys know, if you've been following this channel, that seems to be my home away from home, since it seems like the majority of the shows that I go to end up at the Fillmore. So if you've been following my channel and you've seen my previous reviews, I'd say most of them are from the Fillmore, and so you already know how much I love the place. It just has super cool vibe. The people are extremely friendly, and yeah, so it's just an overall great place. For those of you who this is the first time you're seeing this channel and don't know anything about the Fillmore in Silver Spring, just know that it holds about 2,000 people and it's an awesome venue to see a live show. With that being said, this particular tour featured Unearth and then Lacuna Coil, In Flames, and Machine Head. And I'm not going to lie, once I saw Lacuna Coil and In Flames on the billing, I immediately bought tickets. I had no choice. It's just one of those, I'm 100% going for Lacuna Coil and In Flames. Not to throw shade at Unearth or Machine Head, it's just that in reality, I had never heard Unearth, so I really didn't know anything. I didn't really have any expectations. Machine Head, I've heard a couple times, didn't really do anything for me. So really the main draw was going to see Lacuna Coil and In Flames. And so I immediately got the tickets, and I also noticed that with the tickets, there was also an opportunity for a meet and greet with In Flames, and I jumped at it. Because you guys know, if you're a fan of this channel, you know I love In Flames. Absolutely one of my favorite bands, and it was just an opportunity I could not pass up. I should also say that when it comes to meet and greets, just to throw out a little, PSA for lack of better terms, when I've done a couple meet and greets, they're all 100% different. They're all different price ranges and all of that kind of good stuff. I highly recommend that whatever meet and greet, if you decide to do it, make sure you read every single fine printed detail of what the expectation is, because there are bands out there where they offer this like really high priced meet and greet and you don't even really get to meet the band for too long, or you don't get anything signed, you don't get any extras and all that kind of good stuff. There's a couple bands out there where it's like you pay a lot of money and you just get to, like, a roadie or somebody will take you on the stage, but you don't actually get to meet the band. So there's a lot of stuff like that out there. So before you immediately sign up to a meet and greet, make sure you read the fine print to make sure you understand what you're actually getting into. So with that being said, the In Flames meet and greet opportunity, or package I should say, offered a photo opportunity with the band, a Q&A with the band, a tour poster / autographed, special merch item, and VIP pass with lanyard, as well as early access to the merch booths and early access to the venue. My big concern going into the meet and greet was actually the caveat that said tour poster autographed. And the only reason I say that is because I did have a personal item, and I did notice that other people had some personal items that obviously they wanted to have autographed as well. But when you look at meet and greets, a lot of times, when it says tour poster autographed, what that can mean is, if you don't have anything to have autographed, they'll give you a tour poster and you can get that autographed, as well as, anything else that you may have. Or some cases, they literally just pre-autograph the tour poster and just hand it to you. And there's no right or wrong for that. But the scary part is if you actually do have something that you want signed, personally from the band, you're not sure if there's going to be enough time to do that if they're really just passing out pre-autographed posters. So that was actually my big concern, because I'm working on a project and I can't really share it with you just yet. But if everything goes to fruition, at some point it will be back here. But anyway, so that was my concern going into it. But in the grand scheme of things, it's all minor because I got to meet In Flames, and super, super cool. So what they did was, they took us all, the group was probably, I'd say maybe 30 people or so. And they took us to the balcony of the venue, and they had the band come out, and the band did a complete, Q&A. It was awesome. I didn't record it. From what I've understood with the band, a lot of times they don't want recordings, and they specifically did not say anything about it. But I've just seen on like different, sites or whatnot that the band doesn't really like the recording aspect because it's supposed to be like a private event for people. And so out of respect for that, I did not record any of it. But the QA was like super, super cool because they just seemed like the nicest guys and were willing to pretty much answer any question that was thrown their way. I don't feel like there was anybody that missed out or missed any opportunity of asking questions. I've seen a couple VIPs in the past where they really only have time for like 2 or 3 questions, and you always get that like long-winded person who wants to tell their life story and all that kind of stuff. So it really takes away time from other people. Not in this case. In this case, it seemed as if they were willing to just answer any questions that came their way. And once again, I feel like anybody who had a question could absolutely feel free and ask it. It was just a really, really cool, positive vibe. We also got to take a picture with the band. And once again, when you do these VIP meet and greets, sometimes you don't really know, like we're all strangers in a weird sort of way. So you're then taking a photo with the band that they don't know you. You don't really, well, you know them, of course. But I mean, sometimes it can be a little weird. And I definitely have some pictures where the person, like, I'm probably in the middle and the other person is like way far off to the side. And so it can kind of be awkward. I feel like with them, it just felt like we just have all known each other and it was just a bunch of friends taking pictures. So I do think whatever they did, it just made it seem extra special. So that was super, super cool. The neatest thing about it was after the Q&A, they made themselves available to sign any personal items that people had. So not only did we get the tour poster that was pre-autographed, we also got an opportunity to have them sign any of our personal items. They definitely spent time with everybody and, really just made themselves available. So it was just a super, super cool situation. And I can't stress enough how cool In Flames, like the whole band, just super awesome. And the VIP, so basically the VIP meet and greet absolutely met my expectations and exceeded them. The other aspect to it that's super cool is early access to the venue, early access to merch. The merch was pretty standard. Machine Head and Lacuna Coil shared a booth, and In Flames had their own separate booth. And I didn't actually see one for Unearth. But anyway, the shirts were pretty much for the most part about $40, and they all had their own little aspects to them, which was pretty standard for the most part. The first band of the night was Unearth from Massachusetts. And as I mentioned before, I have never heard Unearth. I've heard their name before quite a bit. There was actually a lot of people in the crowd that were talking about seeing Unearth in the past. And there was actually a lady that was next to us right up at the barrier. And she made it clear that she was really only there for Unearth. And that after Unearth, she was just going to be leaving, which I thought was really random, but anyway, so Unearth definitely had a following, and having seen them now, I totally understand why. They just had a lot of energy. They just seemed like they were having a lot of good fun. The guitar player was like right in front of us because we were right at the barrier. Sometimes you can just really watch a musician and you just see how much fun they're having. He just kept making the biggest smile, while he was playing, and he would do some like background singing and whatnot, and he just seemed like he was having all kinds of mad fun. As far as the band sound goes, they sounded great. I didn't know any of their music whatsoever. They had a shorter set. I think it was probably about a half hour, and they definitely left me wanting more. They could have done, 3 more songs or so, and I would have been perfectly happy. And this is coming from a person who doesn't know any of the music that they've done. So I do think they've had quite a career, though, because one of the songs that the lead singer said was, off of their album from 20 years ago. So I guess they have been around for quite some time. And so I'm definitely going to have to check out more from Unearth because, yeah, I thought they were cool. They sounded great and, had a lot of energy, pretty much everything you could want for a band you've never seen or heard before. So I thought they were awesome. Here's a little taste. The next band up was Lacuna Coil, and I have to say I have been a fan of Lacuna Coil for quite some time now, but I have never gotten a chance to see them live, and so this was like the biggest opportunity to see them, and it's been weeks that I've been sitting there going, I can't wait, I get to see Lacuna Coil finally, because I really have been a big fan of the band, and it just for some reason I've never been able to see them live. Out of all the other bands I've seen, for some reason they've just eluded me. And so this was the night, and they 100% did not disappoint. They came out and just, like, for me, they just blew me away. They absolutely exceeded my expectations. The one thing that I noticed that was so great about them, well, actually, I'd say there was a couple things, but I'll start off with the first thing. The first thing that I noticed was the crowd interaction, and I will say Christina specifically, but the rest of the band did it as well. But they were very good as far as making sure that they knew that they were looking at you and that they were seeing you in the crowd. A lot of bands will just point off and point here or whatever, but they were great at just like straight up eye contact. I feel like Christina and I are like best friends now after this show. Like, there was a lot of just actual eye contact and smiles and points and all this kind of stuff. The whole band went out of their way to make sure that you were seen or by them. And I thought that was super cool. I've been to a lot of shows where the main people in the band or whatever, they barely look down. They just, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's, every band has their own way of doing things, but I love it when there's a lot of that like interaction with the band, and Lacuna Coil just excelled at that. And one of the funniest things was my wife was next to me, and I'll be honest with you, I end up dragging her to these shows. Like, she doesn't know who most of the bands are. It's just that she's just an awesome person, just a super trooper that's just willing to go along with me to all of these, cool adventures. And so, she gets into it, and she does actually like the music. So it's nothing that she doesn't, but she just really doesn't know the bands and know most of the songs and whatnot. So, I'm usually there like, and singing along and all that kind of stuff, and she just kind of chills next to me. And there was a point where Christina specifically looked at her and just kind of made sure she got her attention, and then just gave her like this like cool little wave, and it was just super cool. Once again, it's Christina basically saying, hey, I see you, and I'm going to make sure that you notice us. And thought that was super cool, and I think more bands need to do it. But anyway, they excelled at it. The other aspect that I thought was really, really neat is how much Christina and Andrea basically play off of each other. And I've seen some like live footage before and whatnot, but I think it feels different when you see them live. Like it seems as if when Christina's singing, Andrea is very like, almost like lip syncing what she's saying, but very theatrical about it, and vice versa. And I think that's awesome because they really do support each other. So I thought that was really, really cool. Not to mention, they all just sounded amazing, like fantastic. The band sounded awesome. The vocals were fantastic. And, really that was one that I actually had seen the set list ahead of time, and after every song, I think I'd get a little bit more sad knowing that it was almost over. Like, I absolutely need to see them in a headlining spot because they were just so great. And yeah, absolutely. I need to see more Lacuna Coil. But with that being said, here's a little taste.
Are you with me? This one's gonna be the last one for us tonight. Thank you so much for being part of this night. We love you all. We can't wait to see you again.
Lacuna Coil was followed by the one and only In Flames. Once again, the main reason why I was even there, got the tickets, all that good stuff, is because I love In Flames. I'm a huge, huge In Flames fan, as you guys are probably aware of by this point in the video. Super exciting. Very first time I got to see In Flames was actually this past October. I flew to London to see them with Arch Enemy, and that video is on my channel, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And I just remembered from the London show what the sheer energy was for In Flames, and I just could not wait to get that energy back. And once again, as soon as they came out, it was just all there and then some. The crowd was going nuts. It was great. Just the sheer energy of the band. They were also very good at like eye contact with the crowd. They just looked like they were having so much fun. And Anders' vocals, come on, just insane. I love his vocals. His voice just sounds like, for me, it always just comes off with this just like sheer raw emotion. I would almost like to say, like, like the Incredible Hulk is just like one big ball of emotion, and that I feel like if the Incredible Hulk had like musical ability or could sing, I feel like he would sing like Anders, because it's just that like raw emotion in his voice and his screams, and everything was just so great. I'm not gonna lie, In Flames can play anything and I'm going to love it because it's just so much great raw energy. What more can I say other than they're awesome? And if you ever get a chance to see In Flames, 100% take it. Go. It doesn't even matter. Just go, because you're going to have a great time. Here's a little bit of In Flames. final band of the night was Machine Head. And while I would love to give an amazing review of Machine Head, unfortunately, I can't really give a review at all because, as luck would have it, something came up and I actually couldn't stay for the full set of Machine Head. So I really don't think it's fair to, give much of a review for a band that I really didn't get a chance to see much of. I did get a video of the very first song, so I'll share that with you so you can see, what they sounded like. But as far as like my overall opinion, I really can't give that because I really didn't stay for it, and it has nothing to do with Machine Head. I'm sure that they were great. They're headliners for a reason, and I think they're probably quite legendary. There was a lot of people in the crowd that were really amped up to see them. So, I'm sure they gave a great performance. I just can't really review it because, unfortunately I didn't get to see the whole set. So it would not be fair to say, oh, it was awful or it was great, just because it's not accurate because I really wasn't there. Just to sum everything up, I just want to say if this tour comes to your area, absolutely go see it. And if anything, once again, I can't speak for Machine Head, but just the other three bands alone, absolutely go see it. It's well worth it. So much fun, and it was such a great show. The bands just, I feel like they just excelled. They were just at top tier level and just amazing. Again, if you have a meet and greet opportunity, whether it's with In Flames or Lacuna Coil, I'm not sure if Machine Head had VIP. They may, not sure about Unearth. They may have as well. But, if you get those opportunities, absolutely go, investigate the opportunity, know exactly what you're getting into. And if it's within your budget, go do it. Definitely worth it. And I can speak for the In Flames VIP. Definitely do it. More importantly, just go to this show. With that being said, folks, if you went to this show, this specific tour, let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Did I miss something? Was something you want to add to it? Absolutely. Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button. But more importantly, please leave those comments. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.